Whispers in the Mist, The Haunting of Gettysburg. Jack and Emily arrive in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, and are immediately struck by the town's eerie atmosphere. They check into a bed and breakfast and start exploring the town, taking in the historic buildings and the ghostly tales associated with them. The town seems to be shrouded in a thick mist, adding to the unsettling feeling. As they walk around, they start to hear whispers and see ghostly apparitions. At first, they try to brush it off as their imagination, but as the night progresses, the whispers become more persistent and the ghosts more vivid. They return to the bed and breakfast, feeling uneasy, and try to settle in for the night. However, they are unable to shake the feeling of being watched and followed. The whispers continue, and they start to hear footsteps and other strange noises. Eventually, they realize that they are not alone in the bed and breakfast, and that something otherworldly is lurking in the shadows. Jack and Emily huddle together, terrified, and try to come up with a plan to escape the town. But as they look out the window, they see that the mist has become even thicker, and they realize that they are trapped in Gettysburg with the ghosts of the past. The next morning, Jack and Emily decide to take a ghost tour of Gettysburg. They hope to learn more about the town's haunted past and perhaps find some answers to their own ghostly encounters. As they follow the tour guide through the town, they learn about the bloody battle that took place during the Civil War and the thousands of soldiers who lost their lives on the battlefield. They also hear stories of the ghostly apparitions that are said to wander the town and the battlefield. As they walk through the town, Jack and Emily start to notice that the ghostly whispers they heard the night before are getting louder. They start to see ghostly figures moving in the shadows, and they feel like they are being followed. The tour guide leads them to an old abandoned building, which is said to be one of the most haunted places in Gettysburg. As they enter the building, they feel a chill run down their spine. They hear footsteps coming from the dark corners, and they see shadowy figures moving in the corners of their eyes. Suddenly, they hear a loud bang, and the lights go out. They're plunged into darkness, and they realize that they're not alone in the building. They start to panic, trying to find their way out, but they're disoriented in the darkness. Finally, they stumble upon a door and burst out into the fresh air, relieved to have escaped the haunted building. After the terrifying ghost tour, Jack and Emily decide to do some research to find out more about the ghostly occurrences in Gettysburg. They visit the local library and start digging through old books and articles. They come across a book that tells the story of a soldier who died on the battlefield and was never buried. His ghost is said to wander the town, searching for a proper burial. The book also mentions that there have been reports of strange occurrences in the same building where they had their ghostly encounter the night before. Jack and Emily also find an old newspaper article that talks about a group of soldiers who disappeared during the Battle of Gettysburg. Their bodies were never found, and it is said that their ghosts still haunt the battlefield. As they continue their research, they start to piece together the history of the town and the battle, and they realize that the ghosts they encountered are real. They also discover that the mist that shrouds the town is said to be a manifestation of the restless spirits of the soldiers who lost their lives during the battle. As they leave the library, they feel a sense of unease, knowing that they are in the midst of a ghostly and dangerous situation. They know they have to be careful and keep their wits about them if they hope to survive the haunting of Gettysburg. After their unsettling encounter at the library, Jack and Emily decide to seek the help of a psychic medium to better understand the haunting of Gettysburg. They find a reputable medium and make an appointment for a seance. The medium sets up the room with candles and incense and begins to call out to the spirits. As the seance begins, Jack and Emily start to feel a cold breeze and hear faint whispers. Suddenly, the candles flicker and the room grows dark. A ghostly figure appears before them, and they realize that it's the soldier whose story they read about in the library. The soldier tells them that he's been searching for a proper burial for over a century, and that he cannot find peace until his body is laid to rest. The medium communicates with the soldier's ghost, and they learn that his body was never found after the battle. The soldier's ghostly presence has been trying to find his body so that he can finally rest in peace. As the seance comes to an end, the soldier's ghost fades away, but Jack and Emily know that they have to help him. They realize that they need to find the soldier's body and give him a proper burial to help put his spirit to rest. With a newfound sense of purpose, Jack and Emily set out to find the soldier's body, hoping to put an end to the haunting of Gettysburg. Determined to help the soldier's ghost find peace, Jack and Emily set out to find his body. They decide to start their search on the battlefield where the soldier died, hoping that they will be able to find some clues. As they explore the battlefield, they notice that the mist has become thicker and the air is heavy with the presence of ghosts. They hear whispers and see shadowy figures moving around them. Despite feeling scared and uneasy, they press on. After searching for hours, they find a spot on the battlefield where the ground looks disturbed. They dig and uncover the remains of a soldier, and they realize that it's the soldier whose ghost they encountered during the seance. As they look at the soldier's remains, they feel a sense of sadness and anger. They know that this soldier deserved a proper burial, and that his body should not have been left to decay on the battlefield. They decide to give him the burial he deserves, hoping that it will put his spirit to rest. They spend the next few days preparing for the soldier's funeral, gathering flowers and digging a grave. As they prepare for the burial, they notice that the mist has started to clear, and the ghostly whispers have stopped. Finally, the day of the soldier's funeral arrives. Jack and Emily bury the soldier's remains, saying a prayer for his soul. As they leave the cemetery, they feel a sense of peace and closure, knowing that they have helped the soldier find rest. After the soldier's funeral, Jack and Emily return home to try and make sense of everything that has happened. They feel a sense of relief and closure, but they also know that they will never forget the haunting of Gettysburg. A few days after the soldier's burial, Jack receives a call from the library. The librarian tells him that she has found some old records that might be of interest to him. Jack decides to go to the library to investigate. At the library, Jack discovers that the records are about the soldier whose ghost they encountered. He learns that the soldier's name was William, and that he was just 18 years old when he died in battle. He was a volunteer soldier, and his family never received his body for a proper burial. Jack and Emily are saddened by the realization that so many soldiers died during the Civil War without their families ever being able to bury them properly. They decide to start a campaign to raise awareness and funds to help identify and bury the remains of these soldiers. Their campaign is a success, and they are able to give proper burials to many soldiers whose remains were previously unidentified. They feel a sense of satisfaction, knowing that they have helped bring closure to many families and put the spirits of these soldiers to rest. As they reflect on their experiences, Jack and Emily realize that the haunting of Gettysburg will always be a part of their lives, but they are glad that they were able to make a positive difference. Years have passed since Jack and Emily helped put the soldier's spirit to rest, and they have both moved on with their lives. Jack is now a history professor at a nearby university, and Emily is a successful artist. One summer, Jack receives an invitation to attend a historical conference in Gettysburg. He is hesitant to return to the place where he had experienced so many eerie and unsettling things, but he decides to attend the conference anyway. As Jack drives towards Gettysburg, he feels a sense of unease. He notices that the mist has returned, and he feels as though he is being watched. When he arrives in town, he sees that nothing has changed. The town is still surrounded by fields, and there are still numerous monuments and statues dedicated to the soldiers who fought and died there. At the conference, Jack delivers a speech on the history of the Civil War, but he can't help but feel distracted. He keeps seeing shadowy figures moving in the corners of his eyes and hears whispers that he can't quite make out. After the conference, Jack decides to visit the cemetery where the soldier's grave is located. As he stands in front of the soldier's tombstone, he feels a cold breeze brush past him. Suddenly, he hears a voice whispering his name. Jack turns around, but there's no one there. He starts to feel as though he's being suffocated by the mist, and he starts to panic. He decides to leave the cemetery, but as he walks away, he hears the voice whispering his name again. After his unsettling experience at the cemetery, Jack becomes determined to investigate the source of the whispers and the mist. He reaches out to Emily, who is now a renowned paranormal investigator, and asks for her help. Emily agrees to come to Gettysburg to assist Jack in his investigation. Together, they start researching the history of the town and the battle, trying to find any clues that might explain the strange occurrences. During their investigation, they discovered that the soldier whose spirit they had helped put to rest was not the only one haunting the town. There were many other soldiers who had died in the battle and were never given a proper burial. As they continue to explore, they start experiencing more supernatural events. They hear disembodied footsteps, doors slamming shut on their own, and other eerie occurrences. They realize that they are dealing with a powerful and vengeful spirit. One night, as they are investigating an old building, they are confronted by the ghostly figure of a soldier. He tells them that he and the other spirits have been trapped in the town for years, unable to move on to the afterlife. Jack and Emily realize that they must find a way to help these spirits move on before it's too late. They start devising a plan to put the spirits to rest and free the town from their haunting presence. Jack and Emily realize that the only way to put the spirits to rest is to perform a ritual to cleanse the town of their presence. They gather all the necessary items and perform the ritual in the town square, hoping to free the spirits from their torment. As they perform the ritual, they are surrounded by a thick mist that seems to be alive. They hear the whispers of the spirits and see their ghostly forms in the mist. It's clear that the spirits are not happy about what they are doing. Suddenly, the mist starts to swirl around them, and the ghostly figures become more aggressive. Jack and Emily feel a strong wind blowing through the square, and they realize that they are in the middle of a supernatural battle. They stand their ground and continue with the ritual, despite the spirits' attempts to stop them. Finally, they complete the ritual, and the mist clears. The town is silent, and the spirits are gone. Jack and Emily feel a sense of relief and accomplishment, knowing that they have finally put the spirits to rest. They leave Gettysburg, knowing that the town is now free from the haunting presence of the soldiers who died there so many years ago. Jack and Emily leave Gettysburg behind and start their new life together. They move to a small town in the countryside and open a bed and breakfast. They hope to leave their paranormal experiences behind and start fresh. The bed and breakfast is a success, and they meet many interesting people. However, they can't help but feel that something is missing. They miss the excitement of their paranormal investigations and the thrill of uncovering the truth. One day, they receive a letter from a woman who claims that her house is haunted. She heard about their paranormal investigations and wants them to come and investigate her house. Jack and Emily feel a sense of excitement and decide to take on the case. They arrive at the woman's house and immediately feel a sense of unease. The house is old and creaky, and there are strange noises coming from the walls. They set up their equipment and start their investigation, hoping to uncover the truth about the haunting. As they investigate, they uncover a dark history of the house and the family who lived there. They discover that the family was involved in a series of tragic events that led to their demise. They realize that the spirits of the family are still lingering in the house, unable to move on. Jack and Emily work together to perform a cleansing ritual and help the spirits move on. They leave the house feeling a sense of accomplishment, knowing that they have once again helped restless spirits find peace. After their successful investigation, Jack and Emily receive a call from a historian in Gettysburg. He tells them that he has uncovered some new information about the battle and wants them to come back and investigate. Jack and Emily are hesitant at first, as they remember the fear and terror they experienced during their last investigation in Gettysburg. But they also feel a sense of obligation to help uncover the truth about the soldiers who lost their lives in the battle. They decide to return to Gettysburg and meet with the historian. He shows them old letters and diaries from soldiers who fought in the battle. They read the letters and discover that there is more to the story than they previously thought. As they investigate further, they uncover a conspiracy that goes all the way to the top. They realize that there were some people who profited from the war and wanted it to continue for as long as possible. They also discover that there were some soldiers who didn't want to fight, but were forced to do so. Jack and Emily are shocked by what they uncover, but they are also proud of themselves for being able to help uncover the truth. They leave Gettysburg once again, feeling a sense of closure and knowing that they have helped give a voice to those who lost their lives in the battle. After returning home from their second investigation in Gettysburg, Jack and Emily receive a strange package in the mail. It contains an old diary that belonged to a soldier who died in the battle. As they read the diary, they realize that the soldier's ghost has been following them since their first investigation in Gettysburg. They begin to experience strange occurrences in their home and even see the soldier's ghost. Jack and Emily realize that they need to confront the ghost and help him find peace. They decide to return to Gettysburg for a final time and attempt to put the soldier's spirit to rest. When they arrive, they go to the spot where the soldier died and perform a ritual to help him find peace. As they perform the ritual, they see the soldier's ghost appear before them. They speak to the soldier and help him find closure, telling him that his sacrifice was not in vain and that he will always be remembered. As they finish the ritual, the soldier's ghost disappears, and they feel a sense of peace and closure. Jack and Emily leave Gettysburg for the final time, knowing that they have helped put the soldier's spirit to rest, and that they have helped uncover the truth about the battle. They also feel a sense of satisfaction that they have helped bring closure to the families of those who lost their lives in the battle. After returning from Gettysburg, Jack and Emily take some time to reflect on their experiences. They both feel a sense of closure, knowing that they have helped put the spirits of the soldiers to rest. However, they also realize that the horrors of war still linger in the town, and that many people continue to see and hear strange things. They decide to write a book about their experiences in Gettysburg, hoping to bring attention to the lingering effects of war and the need for closure. The book becomes a bestseller, and they are invited to speak at various events and book signings. They use this opportunity to raise awareness about the need for closure and to encourage others to seek it out. As they continue to speak and share their experiences, they begin to notice that more and more people are coming forward with their own stories of paranormal activity in Gettysburg. They realize that their work has helped open the conversation about the lingering effects of war and the importance of finding closure. Jack and Emily continue to visit Gettysburg and other locations to investigate and help put spirits to rest. They know that their work is never truly done, but they are proud of what they have accomplished and the impact they have had on others. Despite their success in Gettysburg, Jack and Emily can't shake the feeling that they have unfinished business. They receive a call from a family who recently moved into a historic home in Gettysburg and are experiencing paranormal activity. Jack and Emily agree to take the case, but they soon realize that this haunting is different from any they have encountered before. The family's young daughter is the main target of the activity, and they fear for her safety. As they investigate the home, they discover that it was once used as a hospital during the Civil War, and that many soldiers died there. They also discover that a nurse who worked in the hospital had a son who died in the war, and that she never recovered from the loss. They realize that the nurse's spirit is still trapped in the home, and that she is trying to protect the young girl from the same fate as her son. Jack and Emily work to communicate with the nurse's spirit and help her find peace. After a tense and emotional encounter, the nurse's spirit is finally able to pass on, and the haunting stops. Jack and Emily feel a sense of closure and relief, knowing that they have helped put yet another spirit to rest. With this final case, Jack and Emily decide to retire from their work as paranormal investigators. They know that they have made a difference in many lives, and that their legacy will live on through their book and the impact they have had on others.
As they follow the whispers, they find themselves in a clearing, surrounded by mist. Suddenly, the mist begins to clear, and they see a group of soldiers in Civil War-era uniforms standing before them. The soldiers are holding their weapons and appear to be ready for battle. The group is terrified and tries to back away, but they find themselves trapped. Suddenly, the soldiers start to speak, and their voices are the same whispers that led the group here. The soldiers tell them that they are the ghosts of the soldiers who fought and died at the Battle of Gettysburg. They reveal that they have been trapped in this realm, unable to find peace, and they have been seeking someone to help them. The group realizes that they have been brought here to help the soldiers find peace. They listen as the soldiers share their stories and the horrors they witnessed during the battle. The group knows that they have to help the soldiers find peace, so they start to pray, asking for guidance and help. Suddenly, a bright light appears, and the soldiers disappear, and the mist clears. The group looks around and realizes that they are standing in the middle of the Gettysburg battlefield. They know that they have helped the soldiers find peace, and they are grateful for the experience. As they leave the battlefield, the group looks back one last time and sees the soldiers waving at them. The group smiles and waves back, feeling a sense of peace and closure. They know that they will never forget this experience, and they will always remember the soldiers who fought and died in the Battle of Gettysburg.